back to JB Sports. I'm your host, Jonathan Burton, and today is Wednesday, so you know it's all about the wrestling. So, over the weekend, everyone knows what happens. Crown Jewel. We're just going to get straight into that because some very interesting things happened, in my opinion. So, first, you had the old bloodline versus new bloodline. Not the full old bloodline, but the start of it. You got Roman and the Usos versus Solo's bloodline, the Timu bloodline. Everybody knows they're fake. But basically, this match starts off good. It was a good match. And you're going through it, you're thinking, I don't really know who's gonna win this one. I unfortunately did not have time to make a predictions video, which I think I might have ended up having to do a punishment if I would have done it. So that's unfortunate for you guys that I was not able to do it, but next time there's a pay-per-view, I will do one. So we'll see what happens. But going back into it, Roman and the Usos are going against the Bloodline, Timu Bloodline, and good match overall. But at the end, you have Roman take two Samoan spikes to the throat, which Biggie said something very sus at the end of the show, but I won't re-say it. And yeah, Roman got pinned. Roman Reigns was pinned by Solo Sikoa, which really is setting up because what happened was they started beating him down and Sami Zayn came out. And Sami Zayn was like gonna help. It looked like he was gonna help Solo. He went for the hug, wrapped it, and then did that exploder suplex thing he does to the back. And he was getting ready to just give him like a kick right to the face. Unfortunately for them, much to their chagrin, Solo ducked under it, and Roman got hit right to the jaw. Which, if you know anything about Roman, he hates being accidentally hit by his friends, enemies, anything. He hates being accidentally hit. So that's gonna really kind of hurt the relationship, as you saw Jimmy not trust really Sammy after that. He thought it was very much intentional, and you could make a case that maybe he'll be like with them and then turn on them. Maybe it was a whole ploy, but Sammy didn't look too upset that it happened. So we'll see where that storyline goes. It's starting to really heat up now. So it should be getting very good very soon. Next match, WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Bianca and Jade Cargill beats Damage Control, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. Very good match. I like some of the spots in it. I do think that there was a little bit of some botches. I was very funny when Chelsea Green tried to do that moonsault, but she's still the scared type, so she's not ready to go up and do it. So that was pretty funny in my opinion. I thought that I knew that Bianca and Jade were gonna win just because they're keeping that together, so they don't have to go against each other yet. Because eventually at WrestleMania, I do believe it will be Bianca versus Jade for some type of title, or just macho macho, woman versus woman, whatever it's called. So we'll see how that goes. Tag team division is kind of, I'm gonna keep saying it, it's stalling. There's some good tag teams out there, but I don't think there should be a title. But I say that every once, so I need to stop talking about that. Next match, Seth freaking Rollins versus Big Bronson Reed. My boy Seth, he's back better than ever, and he gets the victory over Bronson Reed. I really liked this match. I think Seth really proved why he's the better man so far. He outsmarted him, had some very good moves. Bronson, he held it up. He did not, disappoint. He did not make Seth have to carry the match. Seth just looked better, but that's because Seth has a lot of experience, and Bronson Reed probably has a lot too, but Seth has more in like the spotlight, in my opinion. So at the end, Seth eventually hits a stomp and wins, and the theatrics at the end were nice. Seth is walking out being like, "Oh, I own this." He looks back because everyone's cheering, and it's Bronson Reed just standing up, and he says, "What the is wrong with you?" when he walks out. So I do not expect this little feud to end really anytime soon. Probably another pay-per-view match or two. So just be ready for that. Which honestly, it was a good match, so you can't get too mad at it. Next match, You had the Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan defeats WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax to become the first Women's Crown Jewel Champion. This was way more just theatrical for the match, honestly. It was more just Tiffany continuing to kind of hurt the trust part between her and Nia. I think it's slowly but surely just getting back and back and back where Tiffy's just not going to take Nia's anymore and she's going to cash in. It looked like she's going to cash in for a second, but of course she didn't because Raquel Rodriguez was there, so she did not let her cash in, and of course Dom was just being Dom. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, Triple H comes out, celebrates with her, Liv's crying, she's happy. So that's really good for her, happy for her. Wouldn't even call this a match because it wasn't. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton ended before the match even started. No contest. You had Kevin and Randy just started fast. They started brawling all throughout the arena, and it ended with Kevin Owens putting Randy Orton through a table by an elbow drop. So again, this is one of those feuds where it's really just starting to really heat it up, or it's gonna get Randy into a thought like Cody keeps putting me in these little feuds. I'm starting to get hurt. I don't know why I keep listening to Cody, something like that. All this is just devolving his friendship with Cody, so they eventually go on one, which will be amazing match. Protege versus teacher. And also Randy Orton just RKO'd Adam Pierce. And then people on the X Twitter, whatever you want to call it, were bringing up the clip where Randy paid a 50K fine with 100K, and Nick Aldis was like, the fine was only 50K. Why'd you pay me 100? He's like, for next time, and then he tapped him on the back. So maybe that's gonna go over to Raw so he can pay his fine instead of having to write a whole new check. Then big kind of feud going on between these three. United States champion LA Knight defeats Carmelo Hayes and Andrade in a triple threat match. I thought it was a good match. I with LA Knight, I like LA Knight a lot. This little title reign, I feel like he hasn't done too much to really solidify him as a really good champion. He's had some good promo segments. He's had okay matches, but him and Andrade was really good. That was a sleeper. I just don't think it's there where it needs to be yet. But then again, it is a mid card title, so it's more to just kind of get him ready for it. He wins though. There were some good ones. Hayes hit a diving senton. They had some really good portions of it. I wanted Andrade to win because I really like Andrade, but I knew LA Knight was going to win. Then, final match of the night, you had undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes defeat World Heavyweight champion Gunther to become the first ever men's crown jewel champion. I knew this match was going to slap. I thought it was very good. And I thought the ending, I mean, it's how it should be, a quick roll up, because you don't want any of them to get pinned, like pinned instead of a roll up, because it would make one of the champions look weak and you don't want to hurt the other two because both reigns are still going to be going for a while. So a quick roll up is the perfect way to end that match. And then I believe Gunther shook his hand after, and then you have Triple H come out and congratulate them. After that, they went to a backstage part and they went down, I think, the WWE Experience Center, and they got their rings. The rings, I mean, they look okay. Cody could barely fit on his fingers. He had to push it down, but I don't. The titles look ugly. I'm sorry. The title was like a whole like part of his stomach to his chest right there. On liver was even bigger. Like it was comically bad how bad they looked. So honestly, the ring probably would have just been better instead of having the whole title. So, because you could have gave a title to the women's mid card titles, but you didn't. So, not shame on you because it's your company, but it's whatever. You should have done a mid card title, in my opinion. Then you have the taped Raw in Saudi, which had some big moments, I'd say. The first one I'll talk about is like Miz literally being in a torture chair. Miz was tied up to a chair with his mouth taped and the hands behind his back because, Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas snatched him up. He just has him completely captured. Miz is in his own personal worst situation he put himself in for bullying Bo Dallas a long time ago and bullying R-Truth, and that's what you get. They don't like bullies, Miz. So you bully someone, you get in trouble. Again, Karrion Kross, he was making fun of the Miz. Scarlett, I believe, showed him the video of Miz being like in the chair, and he just laughed and said, "I told you." And she's like, "What? That he was dead?" And he's like, "Yeah." So they've already declared him dead. Someone's got to help him out. Someone has to save him because we can't have Miz go out like that. First match, though, number one contenders battle royale. You have Bianca and Jade. You had Maxine Dupree, Ivy Nile, Carter, Katana Chance, Shayna, Io, Kairi Sane, Lyra Valkyria, Isla Dawn, Natalia, Sonya Deville, Alba Fire, and Zelina Vega. It was all right match. It's just a battle royale. So eventually, you had the probably like fun part would say is when Jade and Bianca kind of squared off. You knew it wasn't gonna happen because we're not getting that this soon. It was gonna be a friendly competition, but it wasn't gonna happen like that. They get trounced on, they get pulled out the ring, and you have Io Sky. It was the winner, which love that. Io Sky getting another title shot. I don't know if she'll win it. She could. Honestly, I wouldn't be too mad about an Io Sky title reign. I just think it has to have a little more like flavor to it this time. Last one wasn't bad, but it just she kind of didn't do too much with it. You had some people get far in it. Valkyria, I think, is the one that Io threw out on the last second. She's getting to where she needs to be, but I don't think she's like in the title scene yet because she hasn't done too much. But she's starting to get some good moments in the end. Then you have the New Day versus War Raiders. You had to think that the New Day will finally come back together and finally win this so they can go challenge for the tag team championships. Let's do it. No, Woods makes a bad call and costs the New Day the match. The War Raiders, formerly known as the Viking Raiders and War Raiders before that, but they've come full circle and have the good name now. But the War Raiders pick it up. They're going to challenge for the New Day's tag team titles, I believe. I mean, sorry, the Judgment Day's tag team titles. So we'll see how that match goes. I'm more focused on the New Day because Adam Pearce did say, I think it was on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, that there will be a Raw dedicated for the New Day for their anniversary. So I think we know what's going to happen there. I think it's going to be finally time where Xavier Woods fulfills his destiny and turns on Kofi Kingston and becomes a heel solo character that can win a mid card title. Championship, high level, I don't think so. Mid card would be a perfect spot for Xavier Woods to finally get a singles title, because the other two have done it. So why not Woods? He did pretty good in the King of the Ring. It was fun matches. So why not Woods? Why not Woods? Hashtag why not Woods? Sami Zayn comes out, talks to the Usos, talks about what happened, why it happened, and then eventually he just like walks out because he wasn't gonna do anything. And then Jay's like, "You are family." It's Jay Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Sammy Uso. Sammy kind of likes that a little bit, but continues to walk out. Jimmy not too fond of it, so it's really coming full circle if you think about it. Where at first, back in the day where the Bloodline were together and Solo was there, um, you had Jimmy really trust Sammy, and Jay was the one who didn't trust Sammy. So it's come full circle where Jay's like, dude, he's cool. We're good, Jimmy. Don't worry about it. When it used to be Jimmy saying, oh, he's cool. Don't worry about it, Jay. He's family. And now Jimmy doesn't think he's family, and Jay thinks he's family. So it's coming full circle around, and it's kind of like recycling what happened before, but in a more fun way, just because it has a very good story to it, one, and it just shows the difference in characters, the character development, as you could say, in the WWE for their storylines, which have been amazing, very, very good. So going into some of those storylines, we will go back to the New Day one. I talk about this one all the time because I just want it to happen so unbelievably bad. I want Woods to become a solo title holder. Heel Woods would be great because he's just he's got that energy. If you watch Up, Up, Down, Down, sometimes he had that heel energy. So he'd be great as a heel. Honestly, he would be amazing. So again, he has an anniversary. Maybe, Big E's there. Of course, not wrestling, not getting anywhere physical because he has a neck injury. He rehabs, does whatever he needs to do to get healthy. Doesn't have to come back. Whatever makes him healthy and what makes him good, like as healthy for the rest of his life. That's the more important thing for him. He could still be there though to be like with them. And Xavier and Kofi are there, and they're talking because they have their little in-ring segment maybe at the end of the night. And what's gonna happen is it's going to be Woods in there with Kofi, Biggie. Biggie's on the side. They're all talking about how, it started this man. What was it? I forgot how many years ago. Was it 10? I think it might have been 10. How many years ago it was? And they're gonna be like, it's been such a great time, Biggie. We know you're injured, but we still love you. We had so many championships. We won so many things. We've done so many great things together. And then, maybe they talk about recently how they're struggling, but since they're the New Day, they'll get it back together because New Day rocks. Then Xavier's like, let's talk about what happened recently. Biggie's kind of like, ooh. Kofi's kind of concerned because, like, hey, it's the anniversary. Let's have some fun. Let's not talk about recent things. And Xavier's like, no, 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 no. We'll talk about it. Talks about how they've been losing. Thing is, they can't really bring up the Odyssey Jones stuff anymore because what happened. So you can't say they tried. Maybe he said you tried to replace E, or you could just say you thought we couldn't do anything. We couldn't be good without E. So you just mention E somewhere. So that gets added to it and really enhances the story there. And then Xavier and Kofi start to argue. Biggie tells them to stop, tells them to get apart, maybe just like pushes them apart a little bit. Then they start to walk apart. Biggie's walking away, and then Xavier just boom hits Kofi with something, attacks him, and then he just walks out. He's like trying to plead with Xavier to know what happened. Xavier doesn't say a word. It just walks out, or he cuts a small promo. But I would rather him just walk out, make it mysterious. Biggie helps Kofi up, and they're just looking at each other, and they're concerned. And then just show goes off air. Let it go off air. Let it go. Then next Monday you can have Xavier come out and he'll confront Kofi will confront him after Xavier puts like on a post and like, you know what, this is for myself. I'm done doing it for your fans. I'm done doing it for you guys. Kofi, betrayed us, said we weren't good enough without E. He tried to replace E, something like that. And he just makes a really big deal out of that. And Kofi comes out and he just attacks Kofi again. And then that'll set up the first feud. And then you can kind of have Xavier start to get in some good feuds until eventually he gets a mid card title. I don't know if they'd have him beat Braun Breaker because I don't know what they're gonna do with Braun Breaker now that Jay doesn't have the title. They haven't really done too much except just roast him the whole time. Really, that's been it. So then you do have a new number one contenders for Gunther's title, which will be Damian Priest, which I think he got new music on Raw, so that'll be nice. I'm starting to like Priest more, but I still just like Gunther better as a champion. I think Gunther's just a better wrestler. I like his style a little more. Damian Priest isn't bad, and you can say they kind of have similar, but just something about Gunther is just different. I like him a lot, which if Damian Priest did beat him, I wouldn't be mad because Damian Priest, I think if he was champion, he'll have a better reign than last time. Last time, I think it was just too clouded for like win wise. It was way more story than actual like match wise because he didn't want a single match by himself, I don't think, without interference. So that plays a big part in what happened because it was Drew and CM Punk that really kind of ruined it for Damian. I'm gonna be honest. So if he did win again, I'd be totally fine. I'm not saying Damian would be a bad champ. I just think Gunther, after the Intercontinental title reign he had, deserves to keep going. Which, you know what? Dom should have been going against Gunther. That's what should have happened. At a big pay per view, that's what should have happened. Dominic versus Gunther at WrestleMania. No, not doing that. That would be very funny if that was ever a match. But I don't think it would ever be a match. I don't think Dom's a world title holder at all. I think the next title he had would have be another mid card after the North American Championship, which was actually a very funny reign if you look back to it. I think it was very good. Not gonna lie, just like the match with Dragon Lee and some of the things that happened, it was very comical. And then tag team champions again, maybe with his pops before Ray retires, because I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't think Dom will stay face for that long. I don't know if they will ever have it happen because Dom's a very good heel. He could be a good face. I think he's more suited for a heel, just his persona. So I don't really think they'd want to change him too much. Maybe keep him as a heel, but have that one return match with his father. I don't know, because the only way to turn him face would have him help his father out. That's the only reason that would work. You can only have him be a face if he helped his dad out, and people probably would still hate him for what he did to Edge when Edge was in the company. So that's the gist of it. Dom, the only way to become somewhat a face, he would have to be in a tag team with his father again, which I don't think will happen for a while. So be used to Dom terrorizing your favorite superstar by just annoying them the whole night, because that's all the Judgment Day does. Finn Balor is starting to get more distant from the Judgment Day, so you could see a split from him very soon. I think Liv, Dom, and Raquel might go on their own little storyline away from the other two, because JD, I think he deserves to have some matches because JD's a very good wrestler. I don't think that he should just be kind of in that secondary role like he's been. I think he should get some time. So we'll see what happens. I saw a lot of people also on Twitter, X, again, whatever you call it, complaining, saying that they're recycling matches for the heavyweight championship, world heavyweight, what, Gunther's title. Yeah, that one. About how they're just recycling matches. People remember Damian Priest didn't get his rematch, so I think that's why they're doing this, and because Priest has been doing good. I don't think he will win, and I think they will set up some new championship matches, but I think they're waiting generally for Raw to be on Netflix, which Raw has some crazy demands. They wanted Roman, Cody, and who else did they want? And I think they wanted like Rhea, which you have enough superstars where you can spread it out, but that's crazy to have all three of them on the same like. I just feel like Rhea has to be on the other one. I don't know. I let me find these demands real quick. So I found the demands. It's Fightful Select reports that Netflix has specifically requested top talent from the men's roster to be on Raw on a weekly basis. So not they're probably gonna try to keep them from SmackDown. The three specific names they want to be on Monday Night Raw are Roman Reigns, WWE Champion Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk. You got to spread at least one of them to another roster. You cannot have all three on Raw exclusively. That would be crazy. Because, like, going through, I mean, you could put, like, Gunther and Seth and some other top talents on the other side, but those three have to be split somehow. Because that would be just crazy to have all three of them on the same roster only. And I feel like they want CM Punk away from those two anyway. So I guess maybe you can flip flop the championships to different sides. So Cody's titles goes back to only being on Raw, and Gunther moves to like SmackDown. But that's kind of wild demands to me. I'm gonna be honest. I think maybe take CM Punk. I don't know. I think they will probably try to move Cody and Roman over to Netflix just because it's a really big deal for them. Like the WWE Netflix deal is really crazy, like in the billions. So they're gonna try to do that. But they should probably put CM Punk on the other brand just for like challengers because that is freaking crazy to have all three of them on the same brand exclusively. So that's what Netflix says they want. That's what Netflix specifically requested. So that would be crazy. I don't think it would happen. Maybe they do. Maybe they leave. They can't leave SmackDown high and dry because then they're gonna make SmackDown like just a little higher than NXT. So there's no way all three of them go to Raw unless they put Seth, Gunther, Damian. They have Finn. They have a bunch of different talents on SmackDown. Because you could say how it's like kind of Paul Heyman wanting Edge to be like the number one guy on SmackDown at one point back then in the day, but I don't know. I do not think they should move all three exclusively to Raw. I don't know what your thoughts are. I think that's a little crazy, but thank you guys for watching this week's episode of Wrestling Wednesdays. I hope you had a great start to your week. I hope you have a great end. We'll be ready for Friday's episode, and thank you. Bye. Subscribe.